Hello, I'm Andy Lee Graham, and I'm going to talk about two different things. I'm going to the country of Colombia, and I'm also I'm having a surgery on, I guess they're calling it a surgery. It's more like a procedure in in November sometime, and it's for my aneurysm. I have an aneurysm, but first of all, I'm going to talk about my aneurysm. Okay, and a lot of people want to understand what happened. And I went into the doctor after they did a CAT scan with this dye in it, and they saw a good view of my aneurysm. Okay, now I did a lot of research because they only gave me words. They didn't actually show me the CAT scan. And so the different things I showed them is right here is the heart, right? And my aneurysm's right below this arch. This is I think it leaves the heart, and there's on the bottom of this, they call it a saccular aneurysm. Okay, and I'm just going to show you another one. It has 3 valves. I actually have a bovine, which means I only have 2 of these valves. But I was pretty worried because this is right in the center of my heart. Now, when I got 2 stents, they were in this lower, just on one corner on this particular ventricle. Okay, so I had all these graphics, and I had like a 28-page report. And then I wanted to ask what type of aneurysm is, but I already kind of knew. This is a normal kind of aneurysm, and this is called a saccular. It's called saccular because it's only on one side, okay? And mine doesn't quite look like that. It looks more like it's like a big lump over here. But I'll show you a picture of it here shortly. But these are the graphics I took in to talk to the doctor. Okay, and I was really excited because I had like 20 questions, and he answered all of them without even deflecting. He was ready for the Super Bowl. But my particular problem is something that happened as a child in the womb, I guess. What happens is there's a blood supply that goes to the baby, and after the birth, this thing closes. Now mine, I think, as I understand it, it kind of filled up, and it took 68 years to grow to about 2 inches, 5 centimeters. And normally when they talk about sizes of centimeters, they want to act like different levels. And to me, it's kind of strange that they don't just fix all aneurysms. They actually wait for some of them to get bigger. So let's wait until the balloon pops. But when the man walked into the doctor, the thoracic surgeon walked in, he goes, "Do you understand what happens if this pops?" And I said, "Yeah, I die instantly." I said, "I figure I have about a 95% chance of death." They say 85, the statistic is 85, but that means they never know how many people just died of an aneurysm. They're 80 years old, 60 years old, 70 years old, and they just take them, they're dead. So they just take them to the mortuary and they bury them and they do it. They don't really try to go into discovery on why everybody died. But here's another picture showing where I did a graphic. Okay, so my aneurysm, I was under the impression that it was right below this area because they were calling this the distal arch. But it's not there, okay? What they meant by distal is at the end, okay? So the heart's all around here, and right now, my heart is beating, like what, 50, 80 beats a minute, and it's pounding, boom, 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 boom. Now this is a saccular one. It looks like a sac, and then it's calcified, and it's been there for 60-some years, right? And as old as I am. And it's been growing. Now, I kind of suspect that in about 3 years ago when I got my second Pfizer shot, it did a inflammation, and it made it, really hurt it because it was hurting for almost a year and a half, whatever. I went to the doctor put in the thing, he walks real fast, he hurts for 5 minutes, but she didn't do an electrocardiogram. Highly realized that through this whole process, you have to demand that the people do what you think needs done because they are like always afraid to recommend anything because they might get sued or something. But that was a nurse practitioner, so she really didn't know what she was doing anyway. But the doctor that I'm dealing with right now is brilliant. He actually was giving me notes, sitting there saying, I wonder if I got those notes with me. he was actually asking all my questions, and he sit there and say, take this down, write this down, take notes. He was going through the whole process with me. I guess I threw it away. And he would tell me the terminology. So what I'm going to have is a TBE, which is a thoracic branch endograph. Okay, that's the technical term. And as far as I can understand, see, a heart attack, there's about 300 out of 100,000 people have a heart attack. Then I think about aneurysms, there's really very low, like 7 out of 100,000. Okay, but what I have is probably like 1 out of 3 or 4 million, maybe. Okay, he was very excited because this takes his skills, things he studied, whatever. Now, what they're going to do is they're going to put, well, I guess I can, so I got when I went to the 4th page, so what I'm going to show you is what I was wanting when I went in there. I wanted something like this. This is a stent, like, a little bit different, but this is a branch over there, okay? And so I didn't have the exact term, but you can see that this one has a particular graphic has a saccular aneurysm right here. So what they do is when they put a sleeve inside this tube, it cuts off the blood to that area, and it slowly just decreases to just sort of a little mass, okay? So the goal is to make this real tightly sealed so that it doesn't. Now I'm going to show you exactly what mine looks like, okay? Well, I didn't make it bovine. These two are together, and then I think they come up and they go like a twist. They look like horns or something. But this is what my aneurysm looks like, okay? And it's just, it's below, it's past the end of the last thing. It's not right directly below. Right directly below, and it would be hard to cover to seal the inside. So what they're going to do is, this is about 2 inches across, okay? And this is my graphic. But what they're going to do is they're going to run a catheter through my groin up into this area, and it's going to be, used to be up till 2 years, 3 years ago, any one of these surgeries had to be surgery. They had to cut your chest open, go in there, cause a lot of problems, okay? Really do a trauma to the body. Now they've got this branching. The problem is this thing called branching. So this thing's called a thoracic branch endograph. The branch means there's the branch. So they're going to go up in there. It's kind of complicated, but they're going to run a tube up in here. Then I think they take a balloon or something and they make it these, on the end of these things, these wires that when the temperature hits it and it gets warm, it kind of sticks. So the goal here is to make it stick, stay in one location, and not move and not leak. Okay, so the 2 biggest dangers, or 3 biggest dangers, is a leak. Okay, somewhere around this system. The second one is a stroke. So as I went through all the stats with a doctor that keeps writing me, and I look at it like a 4% chance of something really serious happening. Okay, but they're also comparing this to everybody that looks like they're 82 years old, 85 years old and falling over. Most of the people in the heart institution can barely walk. They walk hunched over. They're not very physically fit. They're tired. They're retired. They're retired and they look tired. But this is what they're going to do. So they're going to run a thing up in here and they release it. Then I think they run one through here, and then they combine them and hook them together. So I think they're coming in from both directions, but don't quote me. They're going to call this TEVAR. It's an abbreviation, TEVAR. T is in Tom, E is in Edward, V is in Victor, AR. It's like endovascular, blah, blah, blah. Okay, but it was really good when I was talking to this doctor, because he would literally say, write this down, take notes. So I was like a student in the class. On the other side, it's quite stressful when somebody says, when you're talking about how to die and all the things. And he didn't deflect. He didn't try to lighten the load. He didn't try to placate. He just said, you would die, okay? And I was really proud of him because what I want is a realistic person. There's a lot of people that are not wanting realism anymore. They want you to tell them all this nice Mickey Mouse stuff that isn't real. I'm a realist. I'm not a negative person. I'm a realist, okay? I'm a free-thinking realist. I will tell you exactly the situation, not trying to do it. So they gave me a big paper telling me all this stuff. And they put it on my chart, which I think is about nationwide. I think the company Epic or something runs this my chart. Really kind of cool. So the goal is here at the end of November, roughly, that I get this done. Now, so what I'll do is I'll wash it and I'll go in. I'll call the day before, then I go in and I got all these little medicines I got to do. They got a big long list of things I shouldn't take. But, you know, most people that are my age, 65 plus, have a big bag full of things. I don't have but one medicine I'm taking, and I just started taking it, Plavix, because they put stents in here. And Plavix makes the cells slippery, so they don't attach to this kind of metal piece in my heart. I think I have to stop taking that 5 days before the thing. They basically want the body to be normal on the day of the surgery. They're calling it surgery, but more of a intake. I think I stay one night in the hospital. I asked him what the recovery time. He says, well, the minute you're done. So I'm going to call it a week. And I'm going to be worried about three things. A stroke, a leak, or that area where they go in the groin, because it's a big blood vessel right there. They're going to put a hole in there, and that heals up solid, okay? I don't want that leaking, because if it split and leaked, it'd be worse than the aneurysm. It's just like cutting you, because if you want to kill somebody real fast, you cut one of these big arteries. So what happens is this kind of thing, they call it the arch. It goes up in my heart and goes like an arch. Then inside that is my heart. So my heart's beating against this calcified, saccular thing. But it doesn't really look like a sac. It looks more like a lump or something. But it's called saccular because it's only on one side. A normal aneurysm's on both sides. It's just an enlargement. So what they're doing is they're taking a hose. They're going to put another hose inside there. And that'll reinforce that area, and the outer hose will no longer be so necessary. I don't know how porous this is. I don't know how much it intermingles and how much it basically becomes part of the body or what it does. It's not my ideal situation. But I do believe in the next 10 years they're going to come up with some ways to actually replace a lot of things. And stem cells are becoming very common. Like right now, I realized that carrots and chocolate, 100% cacao, if you put a little in your coffee like twice a day, after about 30, 40 days, what it does is it doubles the amount of stem cells. And the stem cells will help you to think. So I'm doing a heavy regime, and I'm eating absolutely boring, okay? I'm no sweets, no carbohydrates, no spaghetti, no bread, only more or less cruciferous vegetables, like the dark green vegetables, parsley, maybe cabbage. Cabbage is kind of green, and radishes and whatever. And probably only bananas and pineapple. I'm doing the bananas because it gives a little sugar, but it's a different type of sugar, and the pineapple is a low pH thing. But hard to get pineapple in the United States. I mean, in most of the countries we're at, I can just walk up and say, yo quiero dos pedazos de piña. I want 2 slices of pineapple. Okay, so that's what I'm doing. But I got about 2 months before this happens. They're definitely not in a big hurry. On the other side is, once they told me that it started when I was a kid and it's been growing for 60 some years, I kind of realized I've been living with this, okay? And it's not the situation I want, and I was real proud of the man. Again, he said, what's going to happen if this bursts, or it splits, or it causes a leak? I said, I'm dead, because it's just a leak out. You just bleed out. It's different than a heart attack, where suddenly the blood gets cut off to an area and it becomes hard. The heart attack is really a repositioning, and it's a redistribution of the blood, and it creates a dead spot in the heart, okay? And that's why sometimes they do bypasses to go around that dead spot. and create a new artery or cell, or well, not cell, vein that goes through there. Okay, I'm going to go to Colombia, and I'll be there for a couple months, and I'm trying to get all the, one of the reasons I'm going there is because it's going to save me almost, I need to move into a hotel, and the cheapest hotel I can get is about $250 a week, and it's ran by this Indian guy that don't even speak English. Almost all these hotels are just anal Indian owned. I mean, I don't know what goes on with their culture and why they come there, but they're really not very personable. They're definitely not American. This guy don't even speak English. But it was $250, and I kept teasing him that was a cricket inside. He says, yeah, there's a cricket inside. It says really chirping, making a lot of noise. But I didn't want to spend, I need to be emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically strong. Okay, since it started, I've lost about 17 pounds. And by the time I come back in 2 months, I will be down to at least, let's see, I'm down at like 190 right now. I'll be down to 170. And I'll stay at that for life because I'm going to pretty much avoid anybody that wants to eat the SAD diet, the standard American diet. I just don't care anymore. Okay, I did a fast, and that was really helpful for me to come in touch with myself. But where I'm going has a gym. They have perfect climate. The room's like $6 a night. It's heaven. Okay, I'm going to be, anybody that wants to talk to me about this, I'm on every Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's like New York City time. You can always go search time in New York City and it'll tell you, right? If you're in California, you want to know what time it is. That's the best way to do it. These things that translate the time always screw it up. So yeah, I just do a search on Google. It says time in New York City. So 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I get on there with my Patreon. So the cheapest Patreon thing you can be is $5, okay? And on the Patreon right now, I'm answering questions on different subjects like tiny homes and whatever. But I also, the minute I get this done, I'm going to I was debating right now, what should I go to Israel? But I talked to one of my friends, Jeff, a doctor actually, and he said, Andy, you've been to Tibet, you've been all these places, your MO, I don't know what that means. MO, my protocol is I normally stay until I want to leave. And I think Israel deserves that I stay there until I want to leave. If anybody has anybody that I can go stay with in Israel, I need to get people to talk to in Israel. And I need to know economical places. But I'm going to try to travel all around the country. But it's a very small country, okay? And I've been there before, so I know what the situation is. And I understand it's dangerous, and that's life, guys. You got to strive to live. You got to strive to live if you want to be alive, okay? You got to strive to live if you want to be alive. I'm not going to sit there. Oh, that guy said a quote, real funny quote the other day. Sylvester Stallone said something like, it's not how hard a punch you can take, it's how many you can take, okay, and still get up. That's what life's about. Getting up after every stroke and not obsessing on these things and talking endlessly about them. I'm very grateful. I have a very good family. I have, I was a lucky sperm, and I was born in a very religious, safe, well-mannered place, which is the opposite of the United States. I'm no longer American. I'm not going to vote. I'm not going to participate. Civil disobedience. I don't have anything to do with this country other than to say that it's a broken system. If Kamala Harris gets elected, oh boy, bend over. Let Rover come over. Bend over, let Rover come over. Okay, life is good. But it's better for me when I don't have to see all the injustices, all the silliness of it's happening. There's a pandemic of irrational behavior on the planet. And I'm hoping that we have a 30% unemployment rate with a depression soon so that people become real. They don't understand that they're always all you got to do is have people lose their job, and about 20% of the people would go bankrupt almost immediately. Okay? They are just living paycheck to paycheck, but there's so many jobs that they have this false sense that there's always going to be jobs. Okay, I'm Andy Lee Graham. I've been in 114 countries. I've traveled for 26 plus years. And so the situation is going to happen is I'm going to go to Colombia for a couple months. I'm going to come back, get this TBE, thoracic branching endograph. About week, 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks later, I will go to Israel. I'll stay until I'm bored, and then, or I can't figure out what to do, or I just feel like it's time to leave, and then I'll fly to Togo, West Africa, say hello to my family and friends there, and then I'll go to Benin, Nigeria, Cameroon, and I'm going to go all the way around the end of South America, Africa. It's about another 15, 20 countries I'll add to the 114, so I'll come out with about 134, 132, something like that. It's kind of debatable. It's not real easy. There's not a clear path there on visiting these countries, but I'm going to take my time, okay? And I'm going to be very happy. My next big jaunt would be the Stan Brothers, which would be like Kazakhstan, but I got to do that when the weather's good. So that's going. I was wanting to go right now to, and I would go to Ukraine right now if I had enough money. Okay, I can fly in and go to Lviv and stuff, or maybe be Kiev or Odessa. But it's I really need like another $2,000 on my GoFundMe page to do that. But, if somebody suddenly gave me $2,000, I will go to right now, after my endograph, I will go to Ukraine, then go to Israel, there's a lot of flights between those two countries in a way. Okay, and I really love Ukraine. I've been there 3 times, but the goal here is that I report on I give you the real truth of what's going on, and I'm not paid for it. Nobody's given me money to skew the biases, okay? Nobody's trying to get me to I'm not owing to anybody. I'm not sponsored by a newspaper. I am a reporter. Okay, and all you got to do to be a reporter is call yourself a reporter. I learned that when I went to Iraq. I went to all this work to get a press pass, and you can just print out one for yourself, guys. You can call yourself a reporter, and you're a reporter. Okay, I'm Andy Lee Graham. Become help. You can either donate to my trip to Ukraine, Israel, on my GoFundMe page. The link is in the description. You can always, and then there's a Patreon system where you can actually communicate with me on every Sunday night, or you can write me emails on this thing, and we have this ongoing chat going on different topics. And one of them is Israel. I probably should have added on thing, but we can keep adding more chats according to the subjects of what you do. I'm one of the world's longest travelers, and I don't have a home in the United States, and I'm very grateful for that. And I'm going to be extremely grateful to stop driving a car. I think this car driving right now, I guess they don't have driver's training anymore. The tailgating by big trucks has become out of sight crazy. They drive like crazy people here in Indiana, but I think they probably drive like crazy everywhere. And I hear that they no longer have driver's training, so the parents are teaching them. You got a bunch of hippies teaching kids how to drive, and this is not the right system. You need adults teaching these people how to drive. I don't have any solution for it, but I know that the United States is always on the wrong path for the last, 5 or 10 years, and I don't see any reason to participate or do anything. I'm not going to vote. I have no reason to be in the United States except to suck out the marrow of this country from every kind of benefit that they can give me. Okay, I'm Andy Lee Graham. Become a Patreon. Get in the description. You can be on the GoFundMe page, or you can do the Patreon, and then you can communicate with me. But I'd really like people from Israel or Jewish people to get on there and start telling me what they want me to do in Israel. And I've got a checklist of different things. The only one that was really clear was one of my friends said, I wanted to know about olive trees. Good question. Okay, I'm Andy Lee Graham. Life is good.